I, 28, live with my girlfriend, Lily, 27, and her brother, Tim, 30, in a cozy 3-bedroom apartment in a bustling city. We've been sharing this living arrangement for about 2 years now, ever since Lily and I decided to take our relationship more seriously and move in together. Tim was between leases at the time, so we agreed he could stay with us for a while. Overall, it's been a harmonious setup until recently. Things first started to shift when Tim lost his job. It was abrupt and threw him into a bit of a tailspin. We were supportive, of course, and agreed to cover his portion of the rent for 2 months while he got back on his feet. It's now been 5 months since that conversation, and not much has changed. Tim has yet to find a new job, or at least he's not been forthcoming about his efforts. Lily and I have taken on extra work to cover the bills, and it's starting to weigh on our relationship. Initially, Tim seemed apologetic and willing to pull his weight in other ways. He started doing more around the house, chores, errands, cooking. It was a welcome shift, and for a time it felt like we could manage. However, slowly but surely, that effort started to wane too. The dishes would pile up, our laundry went unwashed, and takeout boxes began to stack in the recycling bin like a monument to avoidance. Lily, being the peacemaker she is, would often try to remind him gently, suggesting new job opportunities or offering to go over his resume, but Tim would just wave her off, claiming he was handling it. I tried talking to him too, asking about his job search progress, but he would respond with vague answers or change the subject entirely. The real tipping point came during an argument about utilities. We received an unusually high electric bill, and I confronted Tim about the hours he spent gaming with multiple screens on in what he calls his battle station. I pointed out, we're all trying to cut back, Tim, and it seems like the apartment is a constant light show. He shot back defensively, you guys knew what you signed up for when you let me move in. It's not my fault you're all suddenly so parsimonious. I was taken aback. Here I was working late shifts to keep everything afloat, and he's calling us stingy. It wasn't just about money, it was about fairness and feeling like part of a unit. I let it slide at the moment, though I felt my patience thinning. Lily tried to mediate later, suggesting a sit-down to go over our monthly expenses to help him see where we're coming from. Tim reluctantly agreed. The meeting was awkward. We laid out our shared responsibilities, highlighting the discrepancy in contributions. Lily made a heartfelt plea about needing to share the burden not just financially but in effort to support the household. Tim nodded along, but his eyes kept drifting to his phone, as though we were intruding on his time rather than alleviating his burden. A few nights later, when Lily and I thought Tim was out, she and I had a candid talk about what living together meant and how we were drifting because of the stress. It was a tough conversation, but we committed to making it through. Unknown to us, Tim had come back early and overheard part of our discussion. The next morning, he confronted us in the kitchen. I heard you guys talk about me last night, he said with a mix of anger and hurt. If you didn't want me here, you should have just said so. Lily, caught off guard, tried to reassure him. It's not like that, Tim. We want you here, but things need to change. We're concerned about all of us. Tim seemed conflicted, and the next few days were fraught with tension. The household fell into a rhythm of awkward silences and polite gestures that hid the frustration simmering beneath the surface. The air felt thick, and even mundane activities like cooking dinner together felt loaded with unspoken words. Then came the next escalation. One evening, as Lily was preparing to go visit her parents over the weekend, she realized her savings account had been accessed to cover an electricity bill. She normally wouldn't notice small discrepancies, but given her penchant for budgeting, this slipped past her radar until now. Upon checking further, it turned out there had been a few spikes here and there over the past couple of months that she hadn't authorized. The confrontation that followed was intense. We all knew what needed to be addressed, but no one wanted to say it outright. I eventually broke the silence. Tim, did you use Lily's account for the bill? Silence lingered heavily before he admitted, I'm sorry, I was going to tell you, I just needed to deal with it first. Lily, trying to keep her cool, said, Tim, we're willing to help, but you need to talk to us. You can't just. He interrupted with frustration. It's not easy finding work, okay? Everything's stacked up and I felt ashamed. I didn't know what else to do. This shifted my perspective a bit. Underneath the bravado and dismissiveness, Tim was really struggling and perhaps stuck in his pride. We could all feel the weight of our relationship dangling over this precarious exchange. Lily took a deep breath and asked, could we talk about these things going forward? We want to help you, but we can only do that if you're honest. Tim nodded, his defenses finally down. He promised to be more open, though trust, once fractured, has a way of lingering in its impact. Update 1 asterisk. After our conversation, things seemed to change for the better, at least superficially. Tim started attending job fairs and interviews, and there was some semblance of accountability for his expenses. Still, there was a distance between us that hadn't existed before. Lily and I were trying to focus on us again, but with Tim still in the picture, it wasn't easy. Then, without consulting either of us, Tim brought a puppy home one afternoon. Lily had always wanted a pet, so she was delighted at first, but I couldn't help but feel it was an irresponsible decision given our current dynamics. He argued the puppy was a lucky charm for new beginnings. I pointed out the financial burden and time a puppy could add. Lily, ever the optimist, thought this could be a good thing, a project for Tim, something positive to focus on. While I doubted the timing and the added responsibility, I relented, on the condition that Tim would take on the lion's share of puppy duties. This went well for a few days, but soon enough I was the one picking up after the dog. Tim was predictably unreliable, and with Lily's schedule tightening again with work, it became yet another layer of stress on us. We were running in circles, and the resolution seemed even further away. Update 2 asterisk. Things took a dramatic turn when Lily decided to spend a few weeks with her parents to clear her head and seek some advice. In her absence, Tim and I reached a tentative truce focused on resolving our outstanding issues. As much as I disliked the situation, I owed it to Lily to try. During this time, I discovered through an unexpected phone call from one of Tim's friends the reason behind his reluctance to get back into work. An interpersonal conflict turned ugly at his last job left deeper scars than we realized. Feeling somewhat guilty for my earlier resentment, I decided to extend an olive branch of empathy. Tim confessed a few days later and with some encouragement sought professional help to navigate his emotional turmoil. It was a big step forward for him, but also a wake-up call for our understanding. With Lily returning in a few days, I hoped the changing tide would signify our way past this uncertainty towards something healthier for everyone involved. And yet, despite the steps forward, I can't escape the insidious doubt about the future. Things might look rosier now, but we still have miles to go in rebuilding trust and resetting expectations. Am I the asshole? Now I'm here reflecting on this whole saga. I wonder if I've been too harsh or not harsh enough. Should I have asked Tim to leave sooner for the sake of my relationship with Lily? I know circumstances are tough, but is love supposed to come at the expense of one's peace? Looking back, were my efforts equitable, or was I just unintentively empowering procrastination? Balancing the fine line between support and enabling can be taxing, and without clear answers, I feel trapped in a loop of second-guessing. Was I unfair in asking Tim for a defined exit plan? Should my partner and I prioritize us being alone to work things through? Please tell me, am I the asshole in this convoluted situation?